Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And on Instagram and Ravelry, you can find me as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
Quite a mouthful. I'm cpredmor on Ravelry. On Instagram, I post when I post as Knitting in Our Jeans. I probably should have posted this, but this is not something you really see what it looks like unless someone has it on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks like some very bizarre geometric.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In kind of 1 minute update news, Ravelry has announced that Classic Ravelry will be going away in 6 months. So in March of 2021.
They do have a muted color way.
They do.
Color.
I've been trying to use it this past week, and I don't know if that's contributed to the migraine that I've had since Thursday.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
You need to go get your shots. Then you could say.
That's not, I mean, it's not.
There have been other stressors.
There have been other stressors. So
I wouldn't say that that's necessarily.
No, but I'm just saying that.
I found that the muted colors work much better for me. Yes. The circus,
Herdwick?
Yes.
It's called the Herdwick.
The circus colors don't do much for me at all. In fact, it's like slapping me in the face.
Yes. So, once again, if anyone is having visual issues with Ravelry and needs any help getting into their account or something,
let her know.
Reach out. I'm more than happy to help if I can. But it is something that, we now need to take note of. And
I think we ought to make mention that the president is in the hospital, and we hope that he gets better.
I mean,
it's a very serious disease, and even though he made fun of it for a long while, it's very serious, and he's 74, 75 years old, and it could be extremely serious for him. So we do hope that he gets better. So let's put that out there, and make sure you register to vote. I'm
also glad he didn't give it to Biden and Jill and everyone at the debate. I am sorry that he is ill. I'm sorry that anyone who gets this is ill. I do not have enough energy to actually wish him more than that because of how I feel.
I think it was the event on Saturday. But anyway.
I'm just saying.
Look at that.
Yeah, you didn't. Okay. She's discovering new things on her pants.
Anyway, so we hope he gets better. Because it would be nice to see all 3 debates rather than just one. Rather by default. And we hope that no one else gets ill.
Yes, I hope his staff are able to be tested and are able to keep keep distance and safe, especially the Secret Service, who are
the cooks
very
and the
close,
maids and everybody else,
and the janitors, and so it's a serious thing.
He's in the right space. Walter
Reed
is the place to be. So, I am dying of heat frustration. So, I'm going to talk about this first because I've got to get it off.
Mm-hmm.
I have finished just about. There are some ends we found that I need to weave in because I put a seam. Give me a minute. Down the back of the collar. And when you fold the collar over, you see the seam.
Yes.
Of course, if anybody's that close, they better be my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if I flip it inside out, there are some ends I haven't woven in the sleeves themselves.
But also, you picked up and you sewed everything in
that way. Yes. So I have to. I'll just live with it.
Yeah.
It's quite warm. I can say that it's quite warm.
Well,
I did not enjoy or like making this one as much as I enjoyed making the cocoon coat. So I have yarn to make another one of these. I have the black and white, I think it's called newsprint, to make another one of these. Because they are comfy. So I'll make another cocoon at some point.
Or a hohi maybe? Because I know hohi has a few.
We could look at that. We could look at those. I could broaden my horizons.
You could,
look at those.
maybe.
Yes. Well, I broadened my horizons for this.
I know you did. I know.
It's not terrible. It just seems like there are easier ways to work on it, to construct it. And this pattern seems to take a more roundabout way. I finished these sleeves, put it on, and I've been putting it on back and forth, so it's not like I was just doing the sleeves in isolation.
Vacuum.
Right. Put it on when I finally had both sleeves done and realized both sleeves were an inch short. So back into the sleeve, tie your yarn back on and do another, and I actually did another 2 inches, and they finally are just about right. That's enough. Very warm. Certainly the ribbing means it's going to hug your body. It makes a perfect cocoon circle coat. So, in terms of fit, I think it's fine. In terms of joy of making, not so much. But, not every pattern is going to be that much fun.
Correct.
So, it's done.
Yes.
Done.
Thank goodness.
Yes. So, we are expressed that it is done.
Oh, we are very excited it is done. It was not done on Wednesday when we last talked about knitting, and so I'm very excited to hear that she got it done. Because
another 1 minute update. I'm wandering around the house quite a bit without my cane. I have been to physical therapy twice at the physical therapist, and I have been religious about doing the exercises at home, and I think that has made an enormous difference. So I think going to PT before the surgery to keep me in shape, keep the leg muscles in shape, and now being really on the mark in making sure I do the exercises every day here is making an enormous difference. I am really working hard to get the full range of motion back, and it's coming, but slowly, which is understood. We're only, 3 weeks out?
You are 3 weeks out as of yesterday.
3 weeks out as of yesterday. So, I'm working really hard to come close to getting the left leg to do what the right leg can do. The right leg not having had anything done to it as yet. And hopefully won't have to. So that's excellent. I think when we go walking outside, which we didn't do today for some reason.
We both were a bit meh today.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I mean, I've had a headache since Thursday.
Yeah, I've been fine, but I had done my exercises, and it takes me a little while to...
Yeah.
Normally it knocks me out. So the fact that I was awake, I think, was a real step forward.
That's a
big
huge step forward.
So at least it's not knocking me out so much I fall asleep this afternoon. Yeah, so that's moving on. I'm really pleased. I'm not on the bicycle yet. I'm not, they don't want me to stand on the left leg and do leg raises with the right, like I'm doing with the left leg raises. I understand that, because that would be too much too soon. So I'm doing what they tell me to do, and I'm hoping that will keep me on the straight and narrow. I believe it's going to keep me on the straight and narrow. So that is all doing quite well. And because it doesn't hurt as much, I'm getting more knitting done, ergo the jacket that is finished. And it's October, and I thought the weather would get just a little cooler. Isn't this terrible? Usually I like the warm weather, but since I really can't go sailing just yet, I probably would hurt myself.
Yeah.
And or other people, because I really still can't jump up, and I'm supposed to keep the leg up. So, not really. And it would be too soon. I want to wear my sweaters. But it's too warm, and the weather will probably change right in time for Halloween, when the kids want to be out in their costumes, and they can't.
I mean, it's like
60 and 70 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 50 and 60 during the week.
Well, it's going to be 70 next Sunday. I mean, it's still lovely weather, and, I really shouldn't be upset at that. But, is anybody else looking for sweater weather?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm in sweaters because I'm at work, so yes. I'm in sweaters, or at least knitwear, every day, so...
So what else? You're working away over here.
I am working away over here on my Pixelated Pullover, which I can show you the back. I have done the second set of pixelation, and I've done the waist shaping So I did the waist shaping as per the pattern, except I moved it up into the color work because I am short-waisted. So, as we discussed last week. So I did do that modification, and I have tried it on, and as of right now, it hits me at my waist, at the end of the waist shaping, which is good. So, Dad's phone. Yeah. So I'm now going, and I have picked up the sleeves, and I'm trying to knit them 2 at a time. And we will see how far I get doing color work on 2 sleeves at the same time.
Well, you'll be on the same row, so it won't be as confusing as perhaps doing something else. Yeah. As long as you don't move the
I just have to make sure that I keep the yarn separated, yeah. But I'm very pleased. I finally have Mojo back to work on it, so good. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So how are you doing? What have you... Oh my goodness, Olivia has a sleeve!
Elizabeth. Olivia has one sleeve done on her coat. I did not get downstairs to look at the buttons, maybe this week. So then we're going for the second sleeve this week. So that'll be tomorrow's project. And maybe finding buttons. So this is, coming along. The people may be wondering why I'm stringing this out so long. It's because doing these really tight knitting in circles cramps up my hands. I'm fine knitting sweaters for me. Even knitting this sweater for Olivia was fine, but it's the armholes and the legs and things like that. So in order to forestall hand pain, I'm only doing a little bit per week, and it's certainly going to be done in time for Christmas, so that's all good. So anyway, there'll be a second sleeve for Olivia this week, and then after that there's a hood that gets done. So we've got at least 2 more weeks of working with Olivia here. So it does serve as a reminder that Christmas is coming, and to think about what knitting you want to do for Christmas, because now would be a good time to start.
Yes. Always better to start early than late.
Yes.
So I actually haven't done all that much this week, except I have been working on the test knit, and I had more of a collar done, and then I had to rip out half of it, or an inch of it, because the measurements were wrong. So I have done the setup row for the short rows to lift the back of the neck. And then I will go from there. But this has been my on-the-go, in my purse knitting. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how much longer it can live as that. I've got some short row shaping to do, and then I start color work. Yeah. So we're gonna see how long this lasts as purse knitting, but I've been doing that.
But you drive to work.
But I do drive to work now, so I don't have the
subway knitting,
which I did not realize I was doing as much, but I guess I was.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been doing that. I've been doing a few other things, but what else have you been working on?
The My Boy Lollipop.
Ooh.
And I finished the sleeves today. They have not been blocked at all. So I did the sleeves. Yeah. So the sleeves have been done. I had finished all of the decrease rows. And if I wanted a very short sweater, I could stop here and I could do the twisted rib. But I don't like sweaters that are really short sweaters. So I'm going to go, I can show you, I've got this much more yarn of the first skein. My plan is to knit this up and see how far that gets me in additional length on the sweater. I think I want at least 4 more inches before I go into the reverse rib. So, twisted rib, sorry. But anyway, it's coming along quite well, and considering I was trying to make it for Indie Untangled, which is next
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So this will be done. My Indie Untangled sweater will be done.
Good.
And in Ravelry, there's a place to submit your finished photos, or
well, there's a link on Ravelry. There's also, I think we have the link down below, for the official knit along, crochet along, make along. For Indie Untangled Everywhere, the only caveat is that in order to enter, you must be attending Indie Untangled Everywhere. Yes, right. Register. And yeah, so you can submit it there. Yes, you can also,
and I get, I think, an extra point because I'm using a pattern from one of the designers who will be speaking at Indie Untangled Everywhere.
Yes, this
fall. So. This is yarn that I picked up in
Saugerties.
Thank you. I was going to say Schenectady, and that wasn't right. Saugerties. We had a bus that was running between Indie Untangled and Saugerties, and it was what? It's Knit and Tea or Pearl and Tea or Perfect Tea. It's a lovely little yarn store in Saugerties that has teas.
Mm-hmm.
And yarn.
The perfect blend.
The perfect blend.
The reason I'm looking over here is because we have a little notebook from them.
Yes.
It's the perfect blend yarn and tea shop.
And this is Emma's yarn.
Yes.
And she was having a pop-up show, so I had bought the yarn specifically for a My Boy Lollipop. This is fingering. And then I got back together with Elizabeth, and she said, great, this sweater is for DK. But now what we did, since Nancy Ricci has come out with the larger sizes for the My Boy Lollipop, we got my gauge on the fingering and decided then to use one of the sets of instructions for a larger DK sweater that would fit this, that would fit the fingering. And I think it's going to be brilliant.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Here's the front. This is where that...
It's on the front and the back.
Yes, well, it's not as pronounced as yours is. I think with the heavier yarn, it might be more pronounced. But anyway, it will be cute, and I will be able to wear it for
I was going to say, I've also worn mine a bunch and washed it a bunch. It could be just the, settling into it.
Possible. So I love the color. I'm very happy with the color. And so that's been moving along.
That's good.
Yes.
I
quite happy.
Started on my Stand in the Gap cross stitch based on the phrase from Gigi. From Gigi Made It. And so I've been working on that because I just didn't want to knit. I didn't want to figure out how to do the decreases during the color work during the week this week, apparently. So instead I started on this, which I think is perfectly acceptable.
So then I've got the sweater that I started with 1600 Pennsylvania.
Oh, you started it?
I cast it on. I think I've got 2 or 3 rows done. And I haven't done anything else, so I've got that to work on. And then I've got that stripey sweater downstairs that got put aside that has incredibly easy instructions.
Yes.
So,
well,
that
speaking of 1600 Penn,
yes,
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is the colorway that Carita from Neighborhood Fabric Co. did for Michelle Obama during the Obama years in the White House.
Yes.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for this. Your father put all my yarn aside for some reason. This is Mom's.
Yeah. And so with the recent interview with Michelle Obama, where she has revealed to be one of us.
Knitters.
To be a knitter and to be, you know, part of the community under a pseudonym. Carita has decided for a limited time, so until stock is out or until November Election Day, 4th. They will be dyeing up 1600 Penn again.
Right. And it's gorgeous.
It's probably one of my favorite purples. It's in my angle. I was going to use the other lace weight I have for it, in a Daydreamer. Oh, there it is. In a Daydreamer, but
it is just stunning.
It's absolutely gorgeous. So I might or might not have ordered, because the Daydreamer is supposed to be sock weight.
You did.
So the Daydreamer is supposed to be sock weight, and a Surrey alpaca held together. So I have the Surrey alpaca, and I was going to use a lace weight. Instead, I have now ordered the sock weight for it. And I might also have another sweater's quantity coming to me.
Okay.
I might or might not have also gotten a DK weight, because it's the most perfect purple.
It is. It really is.
Like,
it's absolutely stunning.
It's amazing. And yeah, that's a thing that I did this week. That was not. I wouldn't call it all that regrettable.
No, it's a little
excessive. A little excessive, but you know, we don't have Rhinebeck this year. We just have Untangled, and that's it.
That's true.
It's okay.
And that bag of goodies should be coming soon.
Yes, I think I got my shipping, at least that the...
I got some notice about it.
Yeah, I think maybe just that it had started to be packed up.
So anyway, those of you who have ordered a bag and assorted goodies, as we did.
Yes.
They're moving on it.
Yes. So I know they are, because I've
seen...
And
those of you, I don't know whether we made this announcement last week, the... bingo.
Yes.
Is you just have to register for it.
Okay.
And you only get 4 cards.
I think you get 5.
And they're going to be reused during the game, so you need to print them, and maybe print lots of copies, unless you're going to be using what I'm going to be using, which are these things, the little stickies, Post-it notes, to mark what has been called. But you have to be registered for Untangled in order to do it. I think you have to be registered for the game. But for all of you who paid $10 to be in the bingo, they should have refunded your money by now, because they found that it was illegal in New York to do that. Who knew? I had been to enough church bingos that I was shocked to find out that it was illegal. So who knows whether it's just illegal to do on the internet versus in a church basement. I don't know.
Don't know.
So, but that's coming. So that's coming very shortly.
Yes, and I will come out here after work.
Good, and we'll
play with you. Out. Yes. Also, another thing, also just to be aware of, the Nerdbird Makery bags, the RBG ones, they did sell out in 2 minutes. But she is going to do a second run of them, so keep your eye on Instagram for that if you missed out. And I think it'll be in about 2 weeks, is what she said. Yeah.
Okay, so I had said that I went nuts. And ordered, bought digital copies of all kinds of patterns.
You went pattern happy.
I did. You know, I think it had something to do. I was gaining some mobility. I was getting a little more energy, but I really wasn't getting enough energy. So I went pattern crazy. Anyway, one of the patterns, which is only on paper, has arrived. It's a patent. And you can see it's a lace at the bottom with cables to make the hexagons. Whoops. All through the sweater. And so they show it in that light on the front and darker on the back. So I can't wait to make this. I think it would be really pretty. I don't know if it would be pretty in North Carolina.
I don't know.
But I think I have a couple sea greens up there that might be pretty. I've got lots.
You've got lots.
I've got lots. So, well, I'm not. This is the DK and stuff. I think it's fingering.
You still have lots.
I have loads.
You all just can't see the fingering weight side.
We'll check and see here. And then we also got this week a Vogue pattern book in.
Yes, the Vogue Fall 2020. See, I actually kind of like what's on the back cover, too.
Let me see. You know, I think for me, I think it's just a bit too big stitches. You know?
What I'm talking about is this chunky garter stitch sweater tunic, which I think would be very comfy and very, like, throw it on if you, need to leave the house during, when it's cold outside. So, soon.
I will have to look up what frost was. In Patton's yarn. I really cannot tell. It's telling me all the different colors I can get it in.
So it's saying about 6 stitches to the end, or 5.25 stitches to the end.
Which sounds like a DK or
a sport, maybe.
Or a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a chocolate there. I have several possibilities.
You have.
I do.
A whole
mess of them. Anyway,
bunch of them.
So that's something that's.
Yeah,
I think it looks really cute.
It is.
It'd be a great tunic.
You really can't. You cannot tell what it's supposed to be.
So I'll look it up on Ravelry to see what weight yarn that is, and then work up a
swatch.
Yep. Get that done.
So Vogue Fall 2020 came in. And it's a really beautiful magazine. They really played on the, like, color blocking and patchwork trends, which aren't things that Mom and I really do a lot of.
Right.
But in just thumbing through.
Well, but some of the patterns are some that would be great in one color or two colors rather than multiple colors.
So they also have a ad or a no, this is one of their
rescainer.
I was gonna say it's one of their just
nifty
things panels, and it's a rescainer by Acreworks.
And
which looks really interesting.
It has different sizes. It's adjustable.
Yeah.
So if you are frogging something and want to reskein it, if you do that kind of thing a lot, or if you take it out of what it is, wash it, and then need to reskein it again, that does look like a very nifty machine.
Yeah, instead of using the nitty-knotty, because it's an electric nitty-knotty is essentially what it is.
Exactly.
And then they talk about space-dyed yarns. And then Gigi Gay has an article, which is really beautiful and really wonderfully written.
And it's about her central topics of, so what if I'm black? I knit. And I should be able to go in any yarn store, any craft store, and feel welcome. It's like my husband said, we were down at the Jersey Shore on a Saturday, and we said, do you want to stop at that sale? Because Saturdays are the days for yard sales. And he pipes up, they have stuff, we have money, let's go. You know, I knit, I have some money, or I don't, I get to look at the yarn. I can remember I was down in South Carolina for a conference at the University of South Carolina. I didn't have a car. I tried to walk to this yarn store and found out that
that was probably not a good idea.
It wasn't a good idea because the time frame that the
conference?
No, the time frame that the directions was based on a car. And I was walking. And I walked for 45 minutes. Didn't get there. Didn't even get close. So the next night I called an Uber. And they got me there just in time because the store closed at 6 o'clock. And of course the conference went until 5. So I had to get out of there fast. And I got in there and I knew that I could buy sock yarn. If I didn't see anything else, I could buy sock yarn. So that's what I did. I got 3 different skeins of sock yarn. One where they had that it comes with the separate heel and cuff, coordinating yarn in it. And so I went up, I paid for it. I was in and out in 5 minutes. Now, the woman didn't stare at me. I mean, she looked at me because I was not a native and not often in her store. I'd never been in the store before in my life. But the first words out of her mouth were, can I help you? Is there anything specific that you're looking for? And I said, well, I'm looking for sock yarn and I'm standing in front of it. So give me 2 seconds and I'll be up to pay for it. I understand that question because if you're new to a store, you may not know where the various things are. Like I have fingering over there, I've got the sport weight up there, I've got the DK here, I've got worsted here, and I've got humongous down here. The stores are organized in different ways. They may have all the reds over here and the blues over here, and it may be fingering or lace weight at the top and then go to chunky at the bottom. That would be so fun. That would be a rainbow store. Anyway, I digress. I understand that kind of question, but I have to say I don't know that I've ever been followed in a store.
I have.
With people thinking that I'm about to cause trouble. When were you followed?
Oh, I was followed once when I was looking at new purses. Some high-end purses.
Oh, but not a knitting
years
store.
ago. No, this was just a regular store, and I was.
Well, I've had been accosted in high-end departments and department stores too, where the purses start at about $2,000 and go up from there. Because, well, think about where we go to get our haircut.
No, I know. I
have to walk through the expensive purses department in order to get to the elevator.
Oh, see, I usually walk through the very expensive jewelry section. And so that, I have gotten slightly followed through there, especially when I've come from a job site, and I look nice and scruffy, and, cause also, and by that I mean, I have some latent concrete dust on me, so this is not just like, my hair is disheveled. No, I have, like, concrete dust on me. Usually it's like a stripe on my leg because I've run into something. Yes, I've realized this over the last few years that this is just how I am when there's,
dust.
Concrete dust. I will find it. I have had the guys look at me and go, oh, okay, you know where you're, like, and obviously see I know exactly where I'm going, and I'm like, yeah, don't stop me.
We're good. If you notice, we're here every 8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Except for now.
Don't stop me.
Yeah, really don't stop me. I have an appointment.
Yeah.
And, so, I mean, I've been kind of looked at cross-eyed going through that purse department. But, that's where the elevator is. But Judy obviously has been made to feel out of place in several yarn shops. I don't know how many, and I don't know whether she would say many, but certainly enough to say this is wrong. And I don't think it matters. I would look askance at someone with 4 arms, 6 legs, and was purple.
Well, yes.
That would frighten me.
It's a lot of it is more appendages than we are used to seeing, yeah.
And I would think Mars, Mars invasion would be the first thing to come to mind. But I think if a person had the normal arrangement or a normalish arrangement.
You're saying arms, if they have less than 4 arms and 6 legs?
Yeah. Okay. It's like, this is where the stuff is. Can I help you? Mm-hmm. And let's remember that yarn stores used to be a lot more intrusive. I have been in yarn stores where the owner followed me around because I was picking up the yarn and she wanted to help me find a pattern. And I finally said, I made the sweater I'm wearing. I can find what to do with the yarn. I just wanted to find yarn like I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And she was very used to people coming in and buying the yarn and then finding something around the top of the store in the samples that they would make. I don't do that. That happens rarely. I get the yarn and then I can find something to make out of it. So I found her to be intrusive. And I would say that she and I probably knew the same amount of information about knitting.
Probably.
And thank you. But once I tell you I'm fine, believe me, I'm fine. You don't need to keep following me around being very officious. If she'd just been friendly, that would be fine. But she wanted her way to be done. I'm thinking,
I think this is the same person who took knitting directly out of my hands while I was waiting for some people to check out one time and told me I knit wrong and then tried to correct me.
I don't know.
I think so.
There are 2 places where that could happen. So anyway, this was one of them. Anyway, so I can understand feeling that kind of uncomfortable because I was getting mad and I was getting ready to walk out of the store without buying anything. So Gigi's article is how she's been made to feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I've heard other people say, you know, they walk into the store and someone will say, "Oh, you knit." Which I guess is a legitimate thing to say because most of us don't knit. Or, you know, if you walk down the block here, I don't think you'd find many people that knit. I mean, so you go, "Oh, you knit?" But
she's talking specifically about being told or having it being said, "Oh, I didn't know black people knit."
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Never would occur to me. Never would occur to me. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that there's that kind of experience, and I think that people as shop owners need to think about, you know, do they really want to limit who's buying their yarn?
And those of us who are patrons of yarn stores, and if you go to knit nights, you know, be aware and, you know, try and be welcoming, and, you know, you can help change the, you know,
the atmosphere.
Thank you. The atmosphere of
We're
of the shop, and, you know, definitely make your voice heard to the owner if, you know, you see the owner or or the workers, you know, acting in certain in those type of ways where you're like, that's unacceptable. And if you do patronize their stores regularly, they should at least have an ear open, because because it's not okay, and we need to stop this. We need to stop perpetuating this system and this cycle. But I thought it was great. She also has a new collaboration with Madeline Tosh.
Cool.
Called Gigi Loves Orange or Glow. GLO. And I don't think it's the picture. I don't think it's the orange she's wearing in the picture, but it's very close. So yeah, that was a great article. Then there's an article about Black Girl Knit Club in London, which is really cool. And there's also one about the Stitching Sisters, which is the 4 sisters in Alberta who have a podcast as well. And I've heard of them. Calf Facet has...
He's answering questions.
Yeah, I was going to say has a Q&A.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
And then books and a few other articles. There's one, Moroccan carpet designer. Interesting.
Selling hand knitting yarn.
And then there's Deborah Newton with mending of your knits, specifically visible mending.
Socks.
And then a whole little special advertising section with knitting needles. All different types.
In fact, I just ordered 2 more needle tips because I was finishing the sleeve bind off on the My Boy Lollipop, and what I needed, and I didn't want to put the body on waster and take those needles out. So I was looking for another pair of size 4s. And the Addie Clicks that I won at the Long Island Yarn Crawl have size 4s in them. I took these size 4s out, and the tip has broken off of one of them. So I used that as my left-hand needle and knitted with the right-hand needle, which had the tip still there, but realized that this was a little strange. So I've ordered replacement tips of size 4s, so that will be available to me. And I was really being kind of, I think, clever in that I only ordered 1 pair instead of 2 because I couldn't find my 5s either. Or I found only 1 5. I don't know what I'm doing with needles. Apparently I'm eating them in my sleep. So those, I'll try the 4s. If they click on to the cord that I have, then I'll probably buy the 5s too. But I won't buy them in the olive wood since that broke so easily. In fact, that's why I only have 1 5. It broke in half. I mean, I know I break wooden needles, but I usually break the size 1s, 2s, and 3s, not 4s and 5s.
So then there's also the Meg Swanson article, which is about hems. And there's a cute little note about when her mom was trying to figure out how to do a folded hem and how to make it kind of fold on itself. It's a very cute little anecdote about Elizabeth Zimmerman. And then we get into this new designs. So there is a really cute little hat.
It's a nice hat.
That's got a leaf pattern and then a like lattice cable in it as well. But it's that dark berry yarn, so it's not showing up all. There we go.
Yeah, it doesn't show up terribly well with the computer, but it looks great on.
Yeah. And then there's this, which has a nice little leafy design on
Not my color, and I think I might put a bit of a V-neck in it. So with a bit of a V between those two columns.
Yeah.
And in something like 1600 Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I think that would be stunning.
Yes, it's very pretty. And then I'm slightly drawn to it, and I'm unsure exactly why.
Because it looks comfortable.
Probably.
It's a hacking around sweater. It's like something you get up and wear on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You know, it might be good if you made it, you know, I could see a use for that if I made it in 50% wool and 50% cotton.
I think that's what this is made out of cotton and wool. This is a cotton wool blend.
Then it would be perfect for those summer nights when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
So for being on the boat, I think it would be great. And we may go look at a boat in a week and a half.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they said the boat that's out east can be brought to a dock. Because I told them I had my knee replaced.
Okay.
So I wrote to the guy who's handling this whole thing, Dick. I won't say his last name, but he and I have been on email. I'm on his email list. So I wrote and I said, Dick, I got a small problem. I had my knee replaced 2 weeks ago. So it depends on whether, you know, when. So he had said, when do you want to see the boat? I said, well, funny thing. It depends on whether it can be brought to a dock or whether I have to get to it from a launch, because I've had my knee replaced and I'll be much better getting on this boat from a dock than I will from a launch. So you tell me. So email back and forth. He says it can be at a dock. So then we have a small plumbing problem here at the house. So the plumber's coming on Tuesday. So obviously we can't drive out east this week.
No.
Because we have Tuesday and Wednesday open. But I don't want to block up Wednesday in case the plumber needs to come back, because I need this sink fixed.
Oh, yes, it's the sink in the main bathroom of the house.
So
I came home yesterday to be told if you use the bathroom, you have to either go to the master bathroom, which then you like go around the hall, go through my parents' bedroom, into the bathroom, and it's a kind of small sink in the master bathroom.
Or go downstairs
to the kitchen to wash your hands. So I've been going downstairs to the kitchen to wash my hands. But
plumber's
it's like...
coming on Tuesday.
Thank goodness.
Yes. So anyway, the week after that, I gave Dick a couple dates that might be possibilities. So we'll see if the boat can be brought to the dock then.
Oh.
Yes. Your father's actually interested.
Well,
we'll see. We will see.
As he said last week, he's realizing that he is getting older, and that, you know, there are some limitations to what the two of you can do.
There is, and this would be a semi-comfortable boat. It will sail like the wind. Mm-hmm. It's light. It's not as luxurious as the bigger catamarans. Mm-hmm. But I think for the two of us, we really don't need that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has a full kitchen. And the one we're going to look at has been a commercial boat, so it's got a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
So that would be really nice to have a kitchen that works on the boat, instead of one where I light the oven and it goes out, and I light the oven and it goes out, and you get the draft. It takes me an hour and a half to get the chicken semi-close to it. So now we barbecue or we cook on top of our stove. But the commercial stove looks like it will be just fine. So anyway... Yes.
That would be a good sweater for then.
For that boat. You know, you go in, you're having dinner, and you come back out toward the back. It would be a good sweater to throw on. Yeah, I mean, I could see that would be a good sweater. And you know, I have yarn. Mm-hmm. Look.
Yes.
I have yarn.
You do.
I have Queensland. Yes. That, I believe it's 45, it is. 55% lambswool, 45% cotton. Sold. I think I may put a V-neck in it.
Beaumont wool, it's a... They're saying that... What are they saying? They're saying it's about a sport weight.
This is fingering.
Yeah. So, you'd have to do some math.
No, math
it
is
has
not a problem.
No, because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 sizes, and they're all...
Yes.
They've got a lot of ease.
A lot of ease, and you know, I don't really care for that much ease, so...
So then we get into the color blocking, and also pattern blocking. It's that whole patchwork process or thought.
Which for me, I think would be fascinating with maybe the collar, the cuffs, and the hem in one color and the rest of it in another color. The multiple blocking, for me, becomes almost as disconcerting as the brand new Ravelry.
So, then there's, it's actually quite a lovely shawl and cowl, both with color blocking and texture blocking.
Yes. The pink and white I like.
I actually like that too. I think it'd be nice in other colors. It's got a few different, but I was going to say, I can't tell if it's crochet or knit, because if it's crochet, no, it might be knit.
I don't know.
It
says cast on, so I don't know.
And then there's this...
That's pretty.
Ribbed sweater that I was
like
saying.
Rib. I really like ribs.
And also, if you do it in, 3 shades, you do it in a gradient almost, it could be really interesting.
Could be really nice.
Yeah. And then I'm intrigued by this shawl, mostly just because it's a giant shawl, and apparently I'm really drawn to those right now. So that's that one.
Which, the new one...
Strandvaganza.
From Stephen West.
Yes.
Is starting this week?
This next week, yes.
Next week.
Well, this coming up week, on Friday.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yes. So he'll be dropping the first set of instructions. Friday.
So then there's this sweater, which also would be nice. We're not yellow and orange people typically. Not. So we were saying maybe red, purple, and, pink.
Or red, purple, and navy blue.
Yeah. So it's got some really interesting techniques where it looks like it's a linen stitch, and then it's just some yarn woven through a stockinette section. It's very interesting. And then we've got some more kind of standard color blocking. This V, this stripes. Lots of drop shoulder this time, I'm noticing. Some more of those. But a lot of drop shoulder, I'm just now noticing. And then the flashback is to their mosaic work that they did in 2014-2015 in the winter. So yeah, it's a great book. I really like the art. I think the articles win out this issue versus patterns.
Could be.
Because usually it's a pretty even.
Did you want to talk about this?
I did. I talked about it in the beginning.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think usually they're about even, in terms of if we like the articles or the patterns more. Usually it's about 50-50. I'd say this time it's more articles than the patterns.
Yes.
But other than that,
I think I would do some pattern redirection here, because I'm not big on that kind of just a crew neck. I either want it to be an overflowing neck, which is very much like the linen sweater that I have for sailing, which I love, or making this a bit of a V-neck collar, maybe a more just a U collar. That would be nice, a nice U collar, scoop collar. And that would, for me, give it enough visual attention that I would like it. I mean, the other thing you could do is you could run...
Or you just run it super boat.
Or what you do is you have a 3 or 4, maybe a 4-stitch cable that comes down one side that almost looks like a rivulet. And you could even have it go straight, or you could have it go kind of sideways. And that would give it some for me, some visual interest. But yeah, so I have that. We'll see if I get to that.
In the next few months?
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes.
But
Anything
with that,
else? We've got the pattern coming out on Friday. We've got Indie Untangled Everywhere in 2 weeks. Can't think of anything else. Can you?
No, I'm sleepy suddenly, so that's great.
There were no naps this afternoon.
No, we didn't get any naps today.
No.
That's strange.
It is very strange. Usually we hunker down for at least an hour nap. So no naps. We are going to weave in some ends. You ought to weave in your ends, and we'll see you next week.
Bye y'all.